Ron Knows Stuff here, along with Mrs. Ron Knows Stuff and Coco. So, we've all been waiting for years now to buy a car. You can't wait any longer. What's your best friend? Your computer. You got to do your research. Now, there's a lot of websites out there, so you'll see, wow, these dealers are starting to discount their prices. So, we were interested in a particular model. We went and looked at it, but first we went to the internet. We saw some great prices. So, to me, a great price is 10% off MSRP, maybe plus the taxes and tag out the door. So, we're kind of seeing that. So, here's one on the internet. It's $40,885 is the MSRP, and then they do a discount of bringing it down to $38,500, and then there's a manufacturer's rebate of $1,000. So that's a pretty good discount, right? It's not quite the 10%, but it's pretty good. But then when you start looking, you can start seeing, and here's another one, same sort of discount. But then you read the small print. Advertised prices are subject to change without notice. And then they say they do not include tax, tag, and title, registration. That's common. I told you that they're having basically a $4,000 discount. That does not include the Advantage package. This one, and there's not just one dealership. There's a lot of them out there.
But they're listed as additional options, but they're options that are already added, so you can't take them off.
We haven't gotten to that part yet.
Oh.
No. So this is a $3,000 Advantage package. That means you buy it from the dealer, you get the advantage of paying $3,000 more. Yeah, they say they're going to give you a lifetime warranty on the powertrain, but that doesn't cover like if the alternator goes bad, or if the radiator goes bad, or if a hose pops.
What does it cover?
It covers a hard mechanical failure, maybe a head gasket, if they don't try and pin it on something else. Like, well, had the radiator hose not blown, you wouldn't have blown a head gasket.
Oh.
So then you're sorry, out of luck. It's supposed to cover the transmission too. Again, I don't feel that they're worth the paper they're written on. You might think differently, and that's okay. But I'm just telling you, this Advantage package, and again, this is not the dealership we went to. I've seen this on several sites. Then, Mrs. Ron Knows Stuff, you get to the dealer extras. That would be locking lugs, which if you've ever had them on your vehicle and you've taken it to a tire shop, it's just a hot mess. Nobody's going to steer your wheels. And if you are, that's what insurance is for. So, locking lugs, pinstripe, window tinting, nitrogen in the tires, which again, we're breathing the nitrogen air right now.
I have to say, window tint in Florida is a must.
Well, yeah, but when they're charging $600 and legally, all they can do is the front two side windows, because the back ones are already factory tinted. So you can get all these, you can get the pinstriping that they charge $300 for. And I touched it, it was tape. You can get that tape for $7 and put it on yourself. $7, $300, and it's tape. If it was paint, I might think differently, but it's tape. They do a paint sealant. Did you know that paint is a sealant? Really, you think about it. You see a raw piece of metal not painted, it rusts. But if it's painted, it doesn't rust.
It's sealed.
Yeah. And then there's a clear coat on top of that. Trying to think of what other options we saw. Paint.
We saw the all-weather mats and a cargo net.
Yep. All-weather mats, cargo net. I mean, if I wanted those, again, I can buy them cheaper. And why would I want to finance those? Because typically most people finance. Why would I want to finance over just buying them on maybe Amazon or Walmart or Rural King,
Or the auto advance plans.
or any of your auto parts store. Yeah, I mean, I've got club memberships to all these places, so I get discounts. Why wouldn't I want to do that? Why would I want to finance it? So, um, so these prices that you're seeing on the internet, be very careful. Now, there are some good dealerships out there that will,
Well, I think the point of with the additional options, that car that you were talking about listed at 40,000 some odd dollars.
right?
When you got there, it was actually listed for 45,000.
Yeah. So when we got there and again, well, let's finish with this story. When we got there and we looked at it, um, you have the MSRP, which most people negotiate off MSRP. Well, they have their dealer added value package and all that. So now when you go there, you see market value for the vehicle, and that's when they write that price in there. So if it's a $40,000 MSRP, the market value is 45,000. Think we're a little past that time. I would advise you not to do that. So what I would do is cross out and say, well, actually, the market value is, and I looked on Edmunds, and I found out that the average price on it was $2,000 off MSRP. That's the average price. Means some people are getting 4,000, some are paying sticker. I'm not going to pay retail. Ron knows stuff, never pays retail. So, so what I did was I took their market value price and I said, actually, the market value according to Edmunds is 38,000. And then here's the manufacturer's rebate of $1,000. Now we did have a trade-in, and they wanted to give us a dollar amount for it. And they said, well, we have to recondition it and all that. I said, no, you're not. You're going to wholesale that one off. And if you've watched like Car Questions Answered, this would be a great vehicle for him. But it is a vehicle that you would wholesale off. So, and I said that to him. I said, but, and I pulled up, there's WeBuyAnyCars.com. It's just one of the many you can use. I'm not endorsing them, not sponsored by them, but I pulled it up and I showed him that they would give me $5,700 for the car. He says, yeah, but the tax. I said, yes, it would cost me $300 in tax difference, or I would be saving $300 in paying taxes. So would I sell you the car at below wholesale to
Quite a
save
bit.
300? Yeah, to save $300. No, it didn't make sense. And I know when I go to WeBuyAnyCars.com, they're gonna tear the car apart, but I'm still gonna get like maybe $5,000, $4,500.
Still a few thousand more than they're offering.
Well, actually, yeah, I didn't tell you that they're offering 2,500. So do your research. Carry your phone, but before you go, do your research on your laptop, and then run your numbers. So what I did to figure out what would be fair for them, what would be fair for me, I just ran the numbers before I went to the dealership. I put their sticker down, then I put the average selling price. In this example, $38,500. There's $1,000 rebate, brought it down to $37,500. I figured my trade-in value fair to them and to me is $4,500 because they could still, it's low enough miles that they didn't necessarily have to wholesale it off, but they might have to spend $1,000 on it. So that's $5,500. They could sell that car for $8,000. And don't forget, they're going to add a dealer fee. So, all right, so we're 3,500 or 37,500 minus the 4,500 trade-in value. That brings us down to $33,000. Now, 7% on the first 5,000 is $350, and then 6% on the remaining balance, which is 28,000, is $1,680 for a total tax in Florida of $2,030. So we add that to the 33,000. That brings us to 35,030. $1,000 dealer fee. Don't know where you live, but that's kind of what they do here in Florida. And you all know that the manufacturer pays them to prep the vehicle manufacturer pays them to sell it, and at MSRP, they're making a fair piece of money. But there's incentives out there right now from the dealer, from the manufacturers to the dealers to get them to sell. So this $1,000 dealer fee, I threw it in there just to be fair. So it's pretty. So now what? Taxes, dealer fee, trade in, we're at $36,030. There's the tag fee that I told you about, $32.50, and the registration fee of $77.25 for this size vehicle. So that's basically $110,000. So now,
110,000.
I'm sorry, $110. So we're talking $36,140 out the door with the trade-in for a vehicle that's stickered at $40,855. To me, that is fair. I know they're in business to make money. That left them some meat on the bones at that price. They're going to make some money, not only on the one they're selling, but on the trade-in.
Here's the real question.
Okay.
Did they agree to your price?
No.
So what
But-
did you do?
Well, we only went to one dealership.
You walked.
We did. We
Yeah.
got up and said, "Hey, thank you very much. I can appreciate your position. That car was manufactured in July of 2023. It was shipped directly to you, so you've been sitting on that car since, let's say, August 2023. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, part of April. That's 9 months. So if you know anything, the dealer doesn't pay interest on that. They basically buy it on loan. So it's like a credit card. They don't pay any interest in maybe the first 60 days, but after 90 days, if they haven't sold it, they got to pay a little bit of interest. But every month, that interest rate goes up and up and up. So their carrying costs are going crazy on that.
For
thing.
having that on their lot still.
Right. Had they sold it in the first 60 days,
That's when they make the most off of
that's
it.
when they make the most money. But there comes a time when you got to cut the loss. And that vehicle's been sitting there for 10 months. And I even brought that up to him and said, I'm trying to help you by letting you get rid of your oldest vehicle on the lot. Was it the oldest vehicle on the lot? I don't know, but it was the oldest one of that model that we looked at.
That you wanted.
That we wanted, yeah. So, but there are the great news is there's other dealerships around. Now, we want that particular model, but there is competition. The other manufacturers make a similar type vehicle. So do your research when you go to the dealerships and say, I'm considering your vehicle, but I'm also looking at this one from Ford, this one from GM, this one from Nissan, this one from Toyota. And I'm going to buy one from whoever give me the best deal.
Sounds fair enough to me.
Sure. Now, the other thing I want to tell you about is I touched a little bit about rebates and dealer incentives. Towards the end of the month, dealerships are more excited to sell because they get kickbacks from the manufacturer when they sell off inventory. If they hit a certain plateau, they get more money back. So even if they lose money selling the vehicle, but it puts them over a certain mark, they make more money. So that's something to consider, and you want to go towards the end of the month, you're going to get a better price.
Well, and if you've noticed, when you drive by all the dealerships, they're packed full of cars.
They're
They're not selling near as many as they
Right.
were. So
They're
they-
back to pre-pandemic inventory levels. In fact, some of them are stopping deliveries from the manufacturers, which they didn't do it the first quarter, which is January, February, March. So everybody was reporting good numbers for the first quarter. But April, May, June, by the end of June, you're going to really start seeing even more incentives. End of May into June. That's probably going to be the sweet spot if you need to buy a car.
that's your guess.
That is my guess. Yeah, but it's a calculated guess.
Sure.
Right now, you would say, well, gee, why not just buy a used car? And I will tell you that in this vehicle's case, for example, there was special financing You can do 60 months, 2.9% financing. If you wanted to do 30 months, it was 1.9. So
36 months.
what did I say?
30.
30 months? Oh, sorry, 36 month, 1.9. So there's a lot of different financing options for new, which might save you the money you're going to save by buying used. Somebody else will take the depreciation hit on a used vehicle, but you're going to
But
pay.
compare rates to the loan amount just to see how
Right.
you're going to come out ahead.
Right. Always go to your credit union or your bank, your community bank, your national bank, your credit union. Go and see what they're going to loan you first. See what the rates are. And I will also tell you that what you see on the internet for a car is not the price you're going to pay. Some dealers will give you even better price because manufacturers will only allow them to advertise it at a certain level. They won't let them go below that. But some dealers are desperate and want to sell because of that floor plan cost I was telling you about earlier. So they will market a price that's really cheap, but they can't advertise it. You walk in, they'll tell you. Or you can have the experience we did when they go in and the price is
Elevated.
$4,500 over MSRP. So the dealership we went to, super nice, super professional. They did not talk down to us at all. They were super. I mean, I would love to buy there. They do a lot of good stuff in the community. They're good people, but their pricing, they're still thinking
Pre-COVID.
Or COVID. Yeah, right. And it's time to start switching the mindset. So the only way to do that is for you as the consumer, do your research.
And don't be afraid to walk when it doesn't match
research.
the budget and price that
Right.
you can afford. And you don't need to extend extra months. You don't need to do 8 years to get that car.
Right. And consider a different brand. If you can't get a price from one place, go to the next place. If you're close to another state, they know how to sell in other states. They can do that. Maybe they have different dealer fees. You can buy out of state. I have a friend who, here in Florida, we don't need four-wheel drive. He had family in Minnesota. What do they need in Minnesota? Four-wheel drive. So he happened to search the dealership up there for a two-wheel drive vehicle. And he called them up and said, I'm coming up to visit family. I'd like to buy that car. And they said, we'd love to sell it to you because we're not going to sell two-wheel drive up here. And he bought it. He saved enough buying out of state that it paid for his airline ticket, paid for his hotel ticket, and paid for all the restaurants on the way back.
And then some.
And then some. Yeah, he still had $2,000 extra. So like I say, some dealerships, and you can ask them if you're interested in a particular model, what's the vehicle you can give me the best price out the door? But do your research first. Make sure you've run those numbers. I gave you an example of the dealer fees, the taxes, the registration fee, everything. Everything is negotiable. Now, I will say that they can't always negotiate the dealer fee because they have to treat everybody equal and the same. So if they were to knock that fee down for you, they'd have to do it for everyone.
But they can give you a different discount that's equivalent to that.
Right. So they take it off the price of the vehicle, or they add more to the trade-in value.
Sure.
So there's ways of them doing it. So don't get focused on one number. Look at the big picture and do your research. See what incentives are out there. And don't be afraid to walk, and don't be afraid to visit more than one dealership. And you may not get your top choice, but have a few choices fully researched before you step foot out of your house. A lot of people will tell you get a better price over the internet. I don't know if that's true anymore. So do your research. There's going to be more follow-up because we didn't end up buying something today, but we will. So remember, Ron knows stuff, Mrs. Ron knows stuff, and now you know stuff too. You know enough to like, subscribe, and share. And make sure you do leave some feedback for me. If there's something you want to know about this video, you want me to go into better detail, leave a comment. I answer every single one.
Or if you enjoyed it, you can just put that.
And if you didn't enjoy it, lie.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.